Hi, and welcome back to Inspired Alchemy with Lizzie. This is episode 50. I literally just recorded 20 minutes and it did not show up. It's gone, which means that what I am trying to record needs to go out into the world. I have had things stop me every step of the way, and I am going to do the best that I can. I'm in a very different location. I am in a very different situation for recording. And I've pretty much had everything stop me that it could today, including tech issues where I recorded before and it worked, and I recorded after and it worked, but the 20 minutes I recorded did not record, which doesn't make any sense. But this is going to be a very different episode for me and I'm very nervous about it, because I am introducing Black Cathedral to you and what Black Cathedral is. I have already started to lay the groundwork for it as I started the trademark process. But this is my disclaimer of I don't know what the time frame is for Black Cathedral or how things will play out. I don't know the path that it is supposed to take, so I will just take the next step that I feel is right. So the next inspired action. I'm going to introduce you to the whys of Black Cathedral, what Black Cathedral is, and why it's so important to me. So, without further ado, for the second time, before a huge storm comes in, and also if you hear things in the background, I'm trying to stay consistent. I was unable to record this episode before I left, but I am celebrating my daughter's birthday early, and you've got to do what you've got to do. So I'm coming to you from a very busy, very loud and noisy family resort. So please be patient with me. Why Black Cathedral? What is Black Cathedral? So I'm going to start with my why first. I've always loved the dark things. I've always stepped and been comfortable in the shadows. That's why I do this work that I do with Inspired Alchemy. That's why I try to hold space for people who are walking through the darkness to find their light. And Black Cathedral is a place it's a sanctuary for the shadows. I have a love for Gothic architecture, for just odd things in general. And this was inspired by the work that I started doing. Well, I've always loved these things, obviously. But it wasn't until I started doing my body work until I started doing my polyvagal work, and actually until I came up with Perpetual Alchemy, that things started to really take shape. I had to keep finding those pieces of myself because I knew I wanted to create something that integrated with Inspired Alchemy, but I didn't know what that was going to be yet. I still don't know what Black Cathedral is going to be, but as I grow and as I evolve and as Inspired Alchemy evolves, Black Cathedral will also evolve. And like I said, a very dear friend who has helped me find my pieces, who has held space for me, who has been one of the first people to ever hold space and tell me it's okay to be everything that you are. Unravel yourself. Lay everything down that you are not. And find your keys and find your pieces to become everything that you are meant to be. He is the same person that inspired Perpetual Alchemy. And even if he doesn't see it in himself, I see this in him. And he has held that space for me to see it in myself. He has been a mirror for me, and I will be forever grateful for him. That being said, I have some notes. because there's so much inside of me that I want to get out, and so much that feels passionate. I can feel this buzzing within my body, and I can feel the fire, and I can feel the passion. So if I don't have notes, I know I will forget something. And even though this is just a brief introduction, and again, I don't know where this is going, I just feel that it's time to release it into the world. Again, I don't know where it's going, but I think it's important. And every step of the way, I've been stopped trying to release this today. And so I know that I have to. So again, I have notes for myself, and if I didn't, then I would forget. My breath is almost gone because I'm so nervous about all of this. So I'm actually going to open before I go into what Black Cathedral is and its vision and intentions and my intentions for it. I want to already thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for the space that you've held for me to unravel and unbecome and then become everything that I'm meant to be. I want you to know that you're not broken, and that in a world where they want you to feel broken, I want you to know that you're not. I want to thank you for your time and your space, because time is a precious resource that we cannot get back. And I'm saying this now because I believe that there's a way that this episode is going to end. And I kind of want to hold space for that. And I also want to thank you for being here for 50 episodes. While this might not be a big thing for some people, I've stayed consistent in 50 episodes, putting something out, no matter what, twice a week. And for me, that's huge, because this is not something I wanted to do previously. It's something that people told me I had to do, but it took me years to get the courage to actually do it, to put my voice out there and to say, here, I have things to share, and I hope that it helps. So if my voice sounds different, or if I sound a little shaky, it's because I am. It's very weird and surreal and nerve-wracking a little bit. So in that, I'm going to go into the vision of Black Cathedral. So Black Cathedral is a sanctuary for the shadows. It's a place where both the shadow and the light are honored. It's a place where we find our light in the darkness. It's a place where we unbecome everything we are not and stand sovereign in who we are, whoever that might be for you. This is not about perfection, as perfection doesn't exist. We accept all of our imperfections, and we honor them. This is about holding the full spectrum of human experience and existence. The Black Cathedral, I hope, will be about community. Inspired Alchemy and Black Cathedral was never just about me, and I never wanted it to be just about me. It's about empowerment and sovereignty and standing in who you are, no matter what. Learning new perspectives, consistent growth, constant growth, perpetual alchemy, inspired alchemy. That's what all of this is about. And while inspired perpetual alchemy will integrate into the Black Cathedral, I don't know how that path is going to look yet, like I said. This is about the architecture of becoming. This beautiful Gothic architecture with stained glass windows and poetry written on the walls and a fire burning within it that ignites your soul. It's a place to create alchemy. Even if it's an alchemical lab, it will look a little different for everybody, but is a place to hold you in your shadows while you unbecome, while you lay it down, and while you become everything that you are meant to be. Knowing that the cracks that are in the foundation and in the walls are where the light come in. The stained glass is beautiful art, a part of your soul, and that's where the light and the color comes in. Where your shadows are sacred and they're held in space for you to transform. Whatever that alchemical concoction looks like for you. It's the fire within all of us coexisting as a human race. And then creating alchemy from that as well. It's about the individual and it's about the collective. Inspired alchemy is the spark. It's the personal journey, the shadow work, the self-awareness, the becoming. Inspired alchemy is the steps taken, the gratitude held for duality and for life and for everything in general. Inspired alchemy is based off of gratitude. Inspired alchemy is the gratitude, the intuition, and freedom of life itself. Perpetual alchemy is that flame, that ongoing cycle of death and rebirth and integration that fuels the transformation over your lifetime. It is the passion that is burning within you. And it is also representative of freedom, the freedom of choice, the freedom to change, the freedom of mindset. You get to choose. And the Black Cathedral will hopefully be not just you as a vessel, but a vessel for transformation of community. It holds both the sanctuary for individuals and a collective home for transformation. And what the Black Cathedral stands for, sovereignty and empowerment. I don't do codependency. And I don't want, and I've said this about Inspired Alchemy, I don't want anybody to be dependent upon me. When people work with me, it's my goal always. Everything that I do is with intention. I want to give others keys and codes so that way they can take those and use them from an empowered perspective to become more sovereign. And that leaves me in the hope that people will become more empowered and independent and stand in their truth. It's also the place, it's a sanctuary for chaos. Right now, our world feels like it is heavy and it's in chaos. And so many people are trying to figure out what's going on. I want Black Cathedral to offer that space, to be a sanctuary from that chaos. Inspired alchemy is the same. But inspired alchemy is the process. Inspired perpetual alchemy is the process that we use within the cathedral, whatever that cathedral might be for you. It's about integration over escapism. I'm a deep believer that there are no quick fixes. I am also a deep believer that we should not bypass what we are feeling. So this is not about bypassing or quick fixes or anything like that. It's about finding your depth, being patient in the integration and transformation process, resting when you need to, and finding what the truth is, whatever that means for you. It's also about art and poetry and, like I said, passion and finding the fuel and nourishment you need for your mind, your body, and your soul is extremely important. I'm not perfect in any of these, but again, this is not about perfection. I'm learning to fuel my body the way that it needs to be fueled so that I can fuel my mind and I can fuel my soul. I'm learning, and I believe that I talked about this in my last episode, because I was told that, and I knew this, but I had to hear it in a different way, that we cannot leave the body behind. The body is the vessel for everything that we have, and we can't leave it behind, so we need to nourish it, just like we do our mind and our soul. And the Black Cathedral is where we honor our shadow. We're inclusive of our shadow, and that knowing that it belongs with us. It's not something of shame. It's not something to be judged. It's something to be curious about, and finding those things that we feel are our shadow and using them to propel us forward in a positive direction. And I've talked about this before. Our shadow doesn't have to be a source of pain. Our shadow can show us where we're still not free, and we can use that in a positive light. I've started to realize self-sabotaging behaviors. And instead of going, I can't believe that this is part of who I am, I instead say, I'm aware of this. How can I use this to move me forward? And I will use it to move me forward. I have a lot of goals and intentions for the Black Cathedral. When and how they come to be, I'm not sure. But on that list of things is actual merch, products for people who are perpetual alchemists looking for darker alchemy or shadow type merchandise, darker type products. So I do have a line that I'm going to release under Black Cathedral, and we'll see when that comes out. I know that everything happens as it is meant to. Everything happens in its own time. While Black Cathedral is technically a business, it's more than that for me. We live in a world where things have to be run a certain way. And while I'm looking to change the narrative on certain things, it is a business. And I'm saying that because I know people are going to have their thoughts on what I am bringing into the world. But for me, this is a living connection, a tribute to that connection, to that fire, to that passion, to that friendship, and to transformation, and to inspired alchemy, and to perpetual alchemy. This is so much more to me. This is a tribute to the connection to community, connection to self, and to one another. Well, I know this was a very brief kind of introduction. There is one more thing that I want to leave you with. Excuse me while I breathe for a second. Black Cathedral is not just my vision. It's a sanctuary we are building together. A place where the shadows are welcome, where the fire transforms, and where sovereignty becomes our song. This is only the beginning. Inspired alchemy lit the spark. Perpetual alchemy keeps the fire alive. And the Black Cathedral is the vessel that will hold it all. A sanctuary for your shadows, a temple for your becoming. You are also your own Black Cathedral. I invite you to walk through these doors with me, to choose presence, connection, transformation, and passion in a world that often asks us to numb, to hide, or to forget who we are. Here we remember, And here we rise. Welcome to the Black Cathedral. The journey begins now.